All right, guys, good morning, or I guess it's afternoon now. Just in the shop down here getting ready for our upcoming trip to the East Mojave Heritage Trail. So getting a few last minute things that I've been wanting to get done for a while done. So today I have these shelves, or these drawers, that I made quite a while ago, and it's kind of a pain because you have to hold both of these to unlock them to get them to open. So I wanted to make a new handle, so I made a handle so you can just pull them open and close like this. So it kind of locks in place, but it's easy. It's one hand operation, so it's much easier to operate. So anyway, I think I'm gonna take you guys through the journey of making one and whatnot. So I just got some of this aluminum rod, this 1/2 inch, it's just 1/2 inch aluminum rod I got it from Home Depot. So first thing we'll do is we'll measure this distance between here and here, which is 19 5/8. So we'll go over to the bandsaw and we'll cut this at 20 inches, and then we'll chuck it up in the lathe. All right, so we're over here at the bandsaw. Just want to make sure you guys don't use these pieces of equipment if you don't know how to use them. So they can be very dangerous and you can lose fingers. We're gonna chuck this up here. I know not everyone has all this equipment at home, and you know, some of you may not, but I'm sure there are other things you can use to get this done. So we're gonna cut this here. I'm gonna cut it to 20 inches so we have a little bit of extra we can trim off. 19.5. Tighten our clamp. Make sure to wear your safety glasses. All right, now that we got that, we're going to come over here to the lathe. Let's see if I get this set up for us over here. All right, next we're going to chuck our 20-inch piece up here in the lathe. I know that not everyone has a lathe. They're a great piece of equipment. If you have the opportunity to get one, they are very handy, and make a lot of things for overland stuff. Makes things a lot easier. So right here, we're going to take just a cut-off tool. We're going to just part off the end here and make it nice and square. That way we can do a nice surface area for us to do our drilling. So always use a little bit of cutting solution there. Thing with cut-off tool is you want to make sure it's well lubricated. Just gonna cut off the end there. Get a nice square edge. All right. Move this over here. Next, we're going to put a center drill in, so we can center drill our hole in the end, so we can tap it with for a 1/4 20. So here's our center drill. This move our tailstock forward, tighten down our tailstock. See that there, we're just putting a nice move our tailstock back, put our drill in. For those of you that are wondering, this is a Grizzly G9972Z. Love it. It's been a great lathe. I've had it for about 1.5 years now, and I've done quite a bit of stuff with it. Still learning, so there are a lot of things I don't know, but they're not that hard to use once you start figuring it out. Okay, we'll get this nice and close. Backed in about as far as it'll go. Get close. Tighten it down. We're gonna go about an inch or so deep. Just give ourselves plenty of room in that. So turn this on. Make sure you guys can get a nice view here. And we're just gonna drill this nice and easy. For once in a while you want to stop so you can break those chips off. Especially with aluminum, you want to make sure you have lots of cutting oil on there. Back that out. Back up here. Move the tailstock back. All right, next we're going to get ready to do our tap. Leaks, like I said, I need a new one. We're just gonna do a quick countersink here so our tap goes in nice and easy. And while we're at it, we'll do a little quick chamfer on that edge. I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that are way better at this than I am, but this is what I'm doing. All right, we got a 1/4-20 tap and a ratcheting tap handle here. You're just gonna kind of get it started. Hopefully you guys can see good there. You just want to get it started nice and square. It'll kind of find its own center there as you get in further. Just try to keep it as square as you can and turn it. And you can see there it starts to get nice and centered. Take your T-chuck handle. I like to put it in here. You gotta be careful though, don't leave it in there. If you do, you could cause yourself an injury. I do not recommend that you use the chuck under power for this. Just run it in by hand. There we go. It's about as deep as we're gonna get. And then we'll just back it out of there. All right, we'll do a quick blow the tips out of the hole. Okay, do another quick countersink here. Our bolt has a nice space, and we're done with one end. So unchuck it. Just barely fits here. And then from here we're going to measure where we need to be from this end, which I know is about 20 5/8. So we're just going to use a black marker and mark this here. This doesn't have to be super accurate on this because there's a lot of play or give in those handles on there. So if you were looking to be perfectly precise, obviously you'd want to use a pair of calipers or something like that, or kind of measure it in. But for this particular project, it's not that important. So turn this, and then we'll get our cutoff tool back over here. Make sure you guys can see good. And we're just going to kind of line it up best we can. Like I said, for this particular project, it's not that critical. We just want to get something pretty close, so. Put a little cutting oil on there. On these cutoff tools, a lot of people have a problem breaking these because they go too fast or they don't use enough lubrication, cutting oil. So just be careful, go nice and slow, listen to your machine, listen to the tool. It'll kind of tell you if it's having problems. So there we go. All right, turn that off. We'll move this tool up here, and we'll swap out to the countersink, or not to the countersink, I'm sorry, the center drill. Put this in there. It's important to center drill because if you don't, your drill, when you go up on this, because they're so long, it'll like to walk around on you and your hole won't be centered. So you want to make sure you use a center drill chucked up nice and close. You want to make sure your work is not that far outside of the piece, as close as you can get it to the chuck, so where it's held on as tight as you can. So. All right, swap out our center drill for the drill. Need to get the right chuck key for this. Haven't found one in my shop for it, so. But it's working. Good enough for what we need. All right, back in as far as we can. Close to the work. Tighten down the tailstock. Lubrication, and we'll go about an inch or so here. If you don't have a lathe, you could cut these with a saw, hacksaw, anything. You can drill these with a standard drill if you have a vise. I just prefer to use this because it's much easier. Lay it off, move our tailstock back. Sure we countersink this hole again. Makes our tap a lot easier to find its center in there if you kind of put a chamfer on that edge. Put a little bit of lubricant in there. Normally I use Cool Tool or cut some kind of cutting oil, but I guess I'm out of it right now, so this is what we got. Alright, again, just kind of hold it tight. Just kind of slowly let that start. It'll find its own center as long as you let it. And as you get closer, you'll see it. There it goes. Starts to center nicely down in there. Just run this down. As you're doing this, you want to make sure you don't feel that tap starting to bind up. As long as it's nice and free. If it starts to bind up, just reverse it come out of the hole, clean out the hole of the chips, and then do it again. All right, we're at the end. Reverse this, and we'll come out. Again, we want to make sure to blow our hole out. Do a quick little chamfer on that edge. And that's all there is to it for that part. We'll go over and get it installed. Alright, so we're back over here at the back of the Land Rover. We got our piece that we just finished. Looks good. We got our 2 tapped holes. I got these 2 1/4 by 20 by 1 inch stainless screws. So we'll get those out. Then we want to get a 1/4 inch drill and a drill bit. And then we'll drill our holes about in the center here. You'll be able to see kind of about right in here. You'll see where we'll drill it. So I'll get these drilled on both sides and then we'll be right back. All right, we got our holes drilled here. Now we're going to take our rod. We're going to get a little bit of Loctite. This is just Loctite 243. It's a blue Loctite. It's just what I have laying around, just to help keep it from, while we're bouncing down the trail, keep it from becoming a problem. I'm going to stick our screw through the new holes we just drilled. Put our drill through here. I like to get both sides started before we get too crazy with it. This helps everything to go nice and smooth, and then we'll tighten it down. And over here, tighten this down nice and snug. Nope, I'm going to have to work it around just a little bit, make sure it's good. And then, there you go. As you can see, that one's nice. Looks like I'll have to do a little bit of making sure I'm got all this freed up over here. So, but as you can see up here, it looks beautiful, nice and done. So, very nice. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you later. We'll catch you on the next project. Yeah. Anybody can do this. You just gotta come up with the right way to do it and get these fun, unique projects that makes life on the trail easier.